Testing, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Make sure you've all got a coffee at Joey Zaz's out there. Tell them you're a morning startup. Courtesy of Purpose Ventures, we'll get going. Crap, now. Where are my fellow organisers? Where's Nina? Is she going to do this? Do you want to do this?
Yeah, I had to brush my eyebrows.
How are you
going? It's important.
All right. You can heckle in the back, Scott.
That's exciting. Okay, so we will need people that are hanging out to come closer to us and sit.
Come closer.
No more chit-chatting.
Come on, come closer. Cool kids sit in the front row and talk about finance. All the cool kids to the front.
Finance, yeah.
Finance. Damien, front row. Front row.
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah. It's clearly finance brings a particular crowd to the room, doesn't it?
Look, it's an important topic.
It is an important topic.
It was
a good-looking crowd, definitely a good-looking crowd. Yeah. Excellent. Shall we get started?
Yes.
All right. So we're Morning Startup. We meet every fortnight. Rain, hail and shine. We're a West Australian institution, so we've been running for, I'm looking at Nina, there's a test
13 years plus.
One of our fantastic, so it's run for founders by founders, so everybody who you see as an organiser, we don't get paid, we're here for the love and for the community. Dave, unfortunately, is not with us at the moment. He's going to be back around Feb.
Yes, so next year.
My name's Erin. I'm a startup founder. My fellow founder is here today. He does exist. If anyone was wondering, he's a real person.
For all we know, you paid him to come here and show up.
Proof of life. Nina is also a startup founder.
Yes, I am.
And Scott at the back, also a startup founder as well. So if there's a test, what you've worked out is we're all startup founders. All right, so who's new to Morning Startup this morning? Fantastic, welcome. Welcome. So one of the big things about being part of the startup community is shameless plugs and announcements. So every fortnight, we open up to the floor. If you've got anything that you're working on, anything, so if you're hiring, shout out.
Yeah.
All right, who's first? Fantastic, that's how the game's played.
Hello everyone. Good to see you all again. Haven't been here for a while, but it's good to be back. My name's Issy. I study at Curtin and recently finished exams, but last semester I started a business where I'm setting up AI agents and IT automations for companies. I have 2 clients right now, hoping to get more. One of them's a AC company where we're helping them out with their form generation. Another one's a mining contractor. They do vehicle hire up in the Pilbara, where we're helping them out build an email agent that takes all inquiry emails, uses an agent to draft up mock-up email replies. So over the summer break, I'm really just looking forward to just dialing in, hopefully getting more clients. So if anyone knows any business owners that are struggling with that admin work, would love to connect.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Straight out of uni and already building stuff. I love that. All right, who's next?
Hello everyone, I'm Joe from Nova CFO, and after working in the City of London for over 10 years, I realised that one of the biggest things holding businesses back were their finances. So we work alongside your current accounting and management setup, and we step in as an outsourced or fractional CFO. So we help make sense of the numbers, plan cash flow, and just make smarter choices. If you were to hire a finance director, it would cost you well over 200 grand, but with Nova, it's like having a finance director in your business, but a fraction of the cost. So if you want to know more, hit me up after.
Exciting. Awesome. All right, who's next?
Do we have anyone else who would like to share something?
Who's got a pitch they want to practice?
Oh, that would be really fun.
No? All right, let's move on.
Never mind.
All right.
I meant to delete that slide.
You didn't see that?
Never mind.
All right, this one's for you, Nina.
So we also meet first Wednesday of every month. It's at the other side of nowhere. It's in West Leaderville. It's like one station away from here, train station. So it's really fun. We have pizza, and we buy our own drinks. But it's really, really fun. Like, it's just a really chill atmosphere. So if you're not really into the morning stuff, you can always just pop by at night, like that Wednesday, and it's really fun.
And it's sponsored by the lovely people at Ammo Marketing, the pizzas for Founder Sundowner. And Everest. All right, there you go. You didn't see me say that? All right, West Tech Fest. Who's got tickets? Who's coming? Get excited. Who's pitching? Oh, yeah. Round of applause for that guy. That is an epic story. Ask him after this. I'm looking at Pat to talk up the stuff that you're doing at Freo Fest around Tech on Talks.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, look, everyone should come down to Fremantle. It's the heart of everything, really, for everyone in Fremantle. But Fremantle Startup Fest, it's the Wednesday afternoon. It's all shuffled around this year. I've got to rethink. We have it at Freo Social, so from 1 o'clock in the afternoon up until about 5 or 6. There's a bunch of things going on. The pitch frenzy is a whole bunch of fun. You get 30 seconds, come up, there's a big stream of people out the door. We've got the Tech Talk, sponsored by TechOn. Erin's going to give a little bit there. So there's little 5-minute tech talks on inspiring topics around tech. But everyone should get a ticket. It's about the cheapest ticket in town. If you look across West Tech Fest, we're only $50. Come on down, drinks provided, food's provided, talk and fun and people are provided. So, yeah, get a ticket.
I've been last time and it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah, so it's a big week. So if you're not sure about what to go to, what to sign up to, have a chat to one of us organisers and we can have a chat about what kind of events might fit for what you're looking for in the universe, because there's so much happening.
Yeah, we also have a thing happening.
Yeah, we do have a slide on this, I believe. Do we have a slide on? Okay, beautiful. All right. Ready? Are we all feeling calm?
Namaste.
Namaste. All right. Does anyone know what this is?
Is it a live stream?
Yes!
It's a live stream, oh my God!
We're glad Mark knows that dad joke, because I didn't. All right, so...
It's a great joke.
All right, so the other thing that I'm now really good at is our live stream is not brought to us by the lovely people from Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation. Do they pay their invoices now, Scott? Not yet. All right, so the live stream has actually been brought to us by the lovely people from Perth Video. So they've stepped in while the West Australian government goes through a transition. So what we really want to celebrate is Perth Video for stepping in. It's one of the most expensive parts of what we do, and they do an amazing job. So that you can see some regions, so shout out guys. But we're really looking forward to DEED. Does anyone know what DEED stands for? Diversification, energy diversification. So we'll start nailing it when they start paying their invoices. But they do, as part of this transition, CFO talk, making sure cash flow is important. Today, totally on topic.
Yeah.
Is they do a number of cool programs. So have a look on the DEED website. If your startup is not already on wadealroom.co, check it out. It's another good way to get visibility for what you might be working on.
Yeah, and it's a good way for SEO, for ChatGPT to recommend your business and be like, yep, that's totally real.
And it just helps create a case for the number of startups we've got in Western Australia. So ticking along, we've already talked about Perth Video, Ammo Marketing, what we've mentioned before. They have a Weird Growth podcast, check them out.
They're really cool.
And we have the fantastic Glenn from Beecham Group. Yeah, I think you got 30 seconds. My fault.
Oh, all right. Morning, everyone. I'll do my 15 seconds of a tip or a hack. So the first thing just about hiring, just to ask yourself, are you hiring for pain or are you hiring for gain? So pain or gain keeps it nice and simple. So most founders hire when it's pain, i.e. I need someone, shit's at the fan, OMG. Don't. Hire for gain. So I look at the person for 12 months in advance and think about what you're doing from what you would describe then as a balance sheet play. There's my finance reference for you. Do you like that one? Versus a P&L play. Hire for pain versus hire for gain.
Oh, so many good dad jokes and finance puns today. I know, it's great. I love it. All right, Purpose Ventures also about the dollar bills, y'all. So if you're a founder and you're ready for VC funding, check them out. If you're not ready for VC funding, the good news is they paid for your coffee this morning. So technically your startup is VC funded. Congratulations.
Yeah, and they always have really cool events coming up, and they don't have one yet, but we do have in our history of videos one from Mark. I think it was Mark. Derek. And Derek shared what they're looking for in startups and founders. So it's really useful. Hopefully he never sees this though.
Everest Engineering. Tom, do you want to give us a quick spiel? You're like, so
I actually don't want to do a spiel for Everest today. Firstly, Joe has lifted the bar on best dressed at Morning Startup, so well done, Joe. Welcome. I just wanted to quickly say, for those who didn't catch Scott's talk last week or didn't get a chance to connect with while I was in Perth, hit me up, because I know a lot of people weren't either able to make it along to either session or see him, and I'd happily make connection with him if you want to have a chat from some of the stuff that was shared. So I guess more of a shout out to connecting with the product bus and Scotty after last week's session, which was really well received from all accounts. Other than that, obviously, if you want to build MVP or understand how to build MVP with us, please give us a shout.
If you didn't see Scotty's talk last fortnight, I think Dave referred to it as the best talk he's ever seen at Morning Startup, and that's a big, I think it was on the recording, it's written down. So Dave doesn't hand out gold stars easily. So if Dave said it's good, it must be good.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, we're in a beautiful venue called Space Cubed. If you are looking for co-working space, here is one. If you're looking to find out about what's happening up in the startup community, you've got Startup News, sign up. We've got Startup WA, who are the peak body representing startups in West Australia. Some of the reports are on the table there if you want to check them out. And Plus8 is one of the many incubators in Western Australia. If that wasn't enough, there is a QR code here that will link you to lots and lots of other exciting things happening in the West Australian ecosystem.
There are accelerators, no grants, but there should be some grants. But no, like you can always pitch your startups at different events, and like this is your place to find that.
All right. Don't let the party stop after this morning. Join with us on Slack, scan that QR code, connect with other people outside of the events that we're doing. And we're on lots of social media channels, posting regularly, irregularly, depending on what we're doing as organisers. But this is what we were alluding to before.
Ooh, this is going to be really exciting. On the 10th of December, at 7:30 a.m., we'll have a different kind of a morning startup. So basically it's going to be like WTF. So like fuck up stories and about like, you know, all the stories that nobody wants to share and they all just share the golden stuff. We're going to hear about some failures. That's going to be exciting.
And yeah, we've got 3 really cool people lined up and they will be revealed very soon. So get along. And I think it fits nicely. Wednesday, so we'll have an extra. You get a bonus morning startup this year.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I forgot to say is that we actually don't have a speaker organised for the next morning startup. So what we might do is just cancel that one and push it to the next week for this. So just be aware the schedule might change. If you've got it in your calendar for every 2 weeks, it might be 3 weeks from now. But unless, you know, someone really, really wants to do a talk in 2 weeks' time, we'll see.
When's the next morning start?
It's usually in 2 weeks' time, but it's going to be in 3 weeks. 10th. December 10th. Does that work out?
That one will be Wednesday the 10th?
Yes.
That's going to be Wednesday 10th.
So the one that we're looking for a speaker will be...
Something like that.
We'll deal with this on the fly. Yeah, have a chat to Scott.
Do you have 3 people?
We do, yes. I'm looking at Scott. I think we do now.
Yeah,
because
it's 3.
Yeah, we've got 3. And that is our formalities done. I don't know what face to make there. All right, Nina, if you want to introduce our 2 fantastic speakers.
Yeah, well, look, we are going to be hearing from Tim and Tim. I really find it really fun. But, look, I think finance is really, really important, and it's so often overlooked in startups and even in businesses, which is insane, but it is. And it's really important. It is how we make money. So this is why I'm really excited to hear this talk, because I think it's going to be extremely valuable to all of us, and we're going to learn lots.
Fantastic. Let's get a round of applause for Tim and Tim.
Thank you. Thanks for the warm welcome. Yeah, thanks, Nina. Despite the finance jokes, we love finance and we're proud of it. Time for our shameless plug. Metric. We provide fractional finance and FinOps services to SMEs, startups, scale-ups, ASX-listed companies. When T-Mac and I first started Metric, our goal was simple. We wanted to provide financial clarity and discipline to companies so that founders and management could focus on what they do best, which is growing their business. So that was the catalyst for us. Quick poll of hands in the room. Who here spends more than 3 hours a week doing things like bank reconciliations or reconciling bank transactions, invoicing, billing,
joining spreadsheets together to work out exactly how much they need to invoice?
A few of you in the room. So what we want to do today is show you a light touch path to helping you scale your finance operations. All right, my name's Tim Whyte, one of the directors at Metric. What drew me to working with startups is probably about 7 years ago I got my first taste of it, and I loved working with founders who they think differently. They're problem solvers, and I like attaching myself to those sort of people. We move quick, find solutions to those problems. So what I'm hoping to provide you with today is a few real-life examples of my experience over the past 7 years working with startups that might help you scale your business.
Thanks, Tim. Also, Tim Macpherson. I've got about 17 years' experience across private finance functions, so at BGC Housing Group and Bacardi Martini Drinks Group, as well as with financial advisory firms KPMG and Oliver Wyman Management Consulting. And then alongside that, I've actually started up a couple of companies myself, some more successful than others. But one in particular, I guess, that has been slightly more successful is North Fremantle Distilling Company, which houses the South Beach Aperitivo brands and the Leisure State liquor brands, available in all good bottle shops this Christmas.
Another shameless plug.
Another shameless plug. And also, obviously, this one. Metric itself, we are a startup, very much so at the moment. But already, there's a lot of demand out there, meeting great people, such as the people in this room, and working with them to upskill their finance function. Tim's already given the Metric plug, so I'll jump straight into the agenda. So what we're going to cover today, and we'll keep it casual. I think if you do have questions as we go, then absolutely feel free to put your hand up. But what do you need from your finance function? And totally understand here that finance function might just be you, but I think the principles still apply. So just some first principles about actually what good finance looks and feels like. What scaling finance functions need to know. And so I think this is an important one for anyone that's starting to experience those growth pains. We believe that finance today, that we have to be system thinkers. We can no longer just hide in the general ledger. What is a fractional CFO and a FinOps expert? So we'll demystify that jargon. the right time to bring in a FinOps expert. I think it was mentioned earlier. Quite often it's brought in when the pain is already there. Always nice if we can get ahead of it. And finally, we'll wrap up with finance focus areas for startups. So hopefully some actionable touch points that each of you can take away and get benefit from. But with that, I'll jump straight into it.
Okay, so what you need from your finance function. We see a great finance function as not being a monthly report that you get that's pretty much useless before it hits your inbox, but it's systems that turn data into real insights and good decisions for a business. So what we have is sort of non-negotiable checklist items that we hold ourselves to. And at the top, we think it's super important to have right-sized controls that are fit for purpose and are good for today, but then won't break when things are 10 times. So transactions are 10 times what they are today. So an example that I have for this resonates on this item is we were supporting an ASX-listed company. They started out with, say, 10 invoices being processed a week. That was okay from an approvals perspective. There was about 4 people within the business who could approve. That business quickly grew, scaled up to about 50 invoices a week, and that process broke quite quickly. It was about an hour meeting with everyone going through each invoice. So it's about 6 to 8 hours of resource time. We implemented a system called Approvals Max, which automated that workflow, cut the time down to about 10 minutes per week. So that was a real tangible saving of time for the business, all while being aligned with their delegation of authority and their controls. So compliance. Interesting topic.
Everyone's favourite part of finance.
But for us, this is process flows, it's rhythms that ensure your relationships are intact with your suppliers, your customers, the ATO, the regulators, and ultimately that gives you the licence to operate. So a good finance function should enable the business, should enable decision making, and that is integration of technology and providing real-time data to the business. So an ideal state is when there's live data, self-serve data like dashboards and the like. Some examples of this might be if you're making decisions in real time around a promotional sale. How's that going? You're looking at your tech. What's the data telling us? Do we need to tweak it? Is it working? Is it not? What's my inventory position looking like? Do I have old inventory that needs to be moved? That sort of information, that enablement allows you to save money. Finance needs to be fast. It needs to close fast and produce timely decision support so that the business can make quick decisions around hiring, cash flow, and spending money. And lastly, finance needs to provide the insight, so a deep understanding of your core business to answer the so what questions. So one example, I support a biotech company at the moment as fractional CFO, and the founders had a really clear idea of what the macro opportunity was as a business, but they didn't really understand how to meet that from what was the path to scaling that. So we undertook an analysis of productions, yields, growth rates, these sort of things that would drive volume of sales, and then also looked at costings, pricing, to understand how they could meet that market opportunity, and that ultimately helped shaped their strategy going forward. Thanks, Timbo. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, nice. Thanks, Tim. So what scaling finance functions need to know? So we touched on it before, but we believe that modern day finance functions need to be system thinkers. What this slide is showing across the x-axis is a very, very high level sales flow. So basically from lead conversion to then cash collection and then reporting. And then on the y-axis, you've just got sort of, again, very, very high level, but the different systems that are touching that process. And honestly, I think this slide kind of encapsulates a big reason for us starting Metric, and that is because I think traditional finance, be it tax accountants, be it bookkeepers, not that it's a bad thing, I think it is just how it has been. They have just stayed, in that general ledger swim lane. So effectively, they're not too worried about connecting any of the dots further upstream. They're not too worried about any of the decisions that it's informing out of it. It's just as long as the debits equal the credits, and as long as the cash reconciles, at bank, then that is a tick. But we don't think that's good enough anymore. For any business, for any ambitious business that wants to grow and wants to move quickly. If I walk through the flow, and we can, just take South Beach Aperitivo again, shameless plug, as the example. We sell via a third party, so we have a sales and distribution agreement with a third party. So we sell to them, they sell to the customers. So if I was just to take basically the data that comes out of Xero, I would just have lumpy monthly sales that go to a third party, which is useless. What I want to understand up the front end, and whether it be Salesforce, whether it be Airtable, insert whatever CRM you're using, is what are the leads, what are the conversion rates, what is that costing me, and if I want to scale this business, exactly how many salespeople are converting, how many sales per week, and what is that cost. That's important information I need to know. The other piece, very important piece of information that I need to know is we sell to them, but how deeply are they discounting? And I've caught them out on many times when I've seen a nice spike in volume. There's usually a reason. And who are the customers that we're actually servicing? Because I want to understand who the end customer is, so I can make sure that any of our marketing initiatives, we are maintaining good relationships with them. So that should flow down into our business intelligence. Next up, okay, we've made a sale. We're sending out invoices. We do some direct sales as well, and like Tim touched on, those sales, to be honest, they're not very high volume initially. Growing, but as they did start to move faster, obviously processing these things individually was a pain. So we use things like Dext or other OCR platforms to help us just rip the information from a PDF and put that into Xero for us. So that saves a lot of time. Then moving down to actually receipting, and I've sort of jammed in also spend management. We use an app called AirWallex, which sits across a banking platform, and that's also particularly good for basically tracking who is spending what. I've got some pretty outlandish business partners, and being able to name and shame what is going out the door, how that how that compares to the budget that we set, and whether or not that spend is aligned to our strategy.
You're at those lunches too, teammate.
So yeah, and Metric as well. They're easy discussions to have. It kills the emotion. It's just like, this is what you've done. This comes down to the general ledger, which of course is important, but all of this has to hang together to then produce some insights around my metrics and my key business drivers, because that's what I'm going to use to inform my business decisions. And not to steal Tim's thunder for the next slide in terms of what is FinOps, but I honestly think that's a relatively good depiction of what we mean when we say FinOps. A FinOps expert is someone that sits across all of that. They don't just sit in Xero. Right, fractional CFO versus a FinOps expert. My old man is a 40-year accounting veteran, and when I told him that these were the two terms we were going to put on our website, his head exploded. I don't think they're that complicated, but I guess I'm biased. A fractional CFO, quite simply put, is a CFO that sits across a portfolio of clients. Joe explained it very well earlier, really stole the thunder. They're charging they're spending a fraction of their time at a fraction of the cost of a full-time CFO hire. So that's very much sort of the core of what we do. And the kinds of things that we will get involved in will be your capital strategy, board investor relationships, materials, your go-to-market strategy. So a lot of what we spoke about before, what are our key channels, who are our key customers, how are we going to price and how are we going to position, business planning and your business model. These are the sorts of areas I think that quite often, and we'll talk to it a little bit, in terms of when you start to feel like you might need something more than your bookkeeper, it's usually when you're just starting to scale, and a lot of these things are sort of hanging in the air, or you're sort of kind of working on them on the fly. I'll hand over to Tim to talk to the slightly more complicated one.
Thanks, Tibbo. As you alluded to in the previous slide, the FinOps expert or financial operations expert is the person dealing at that intersection of finance, operations, data and technology. So they're making sure all those systems hum together and business insights are able to be generated from that flow. So a good FinOps expert understands how businesses work with data, and that flows through as cash in the business. As I said, they're looking at systems integration, they're working on the financial close, so they're making sure all the journals are in, everything's tied away, billing and invoice and spend management. So become some of the key financial processes that provide the fractional CFO with the ability to provide the insights they need. And sort of in the middle is where strategy meets operations with inputs into forecasting, cash flow and business KPIs. So one question a lot of businesses and founders ask themselves is, when is the right time to bring in the FinOps expert? And if you look at the line in the middle, at the start, you're starting out, you've got your business, so you need someone to register it for you, you register it yourself, you need your Xero file set up, a few transactions going on, that's fine. Along the way, you've made it, so that's an awesome result. You've got the cash, you can hire your awesome in-house team. But in the middle, there's a lot of businesses that are stuck in the gap. And we find that there's quite a few telltale signs that you might be in that position and you're looking for some FinOps help. So you might be thinking to yourself, why am I doing every invoice? You've got a bookkeeper in place, but they're only available on a Monday, or they only process things on a Monday, and your supplier needs to get paid on a Thursday and the invoice hasn't been processed. It's just a bit annoying. You need that help throughout the week. You're working on finance in the evenings and weekends because you're running out of time and you're not prioritising it. You're getting meaningless reporting from your accountants that's useless, doesn't provide any insights, and is old by the time it gets sent to you. And you don't have a good sense of your burn or your cash flow, so you're not sure what your run rate is, which is pretty critical for any early stage business or any business. Your Xero's a mess, and your payroll is often a process which is just a bit painful. There's a good way to do it and there's a poor way to do it. And another telltale sign is that you're processing individual bank payments, so you're not uploading batches for efficiency. Now, some of the triggers that might cause these issues along the journey that might lead to you needing FinOps support or a fractional CFO is things like if you've launched a new product, it's going really well, it's getting traction, you're busy on that, transaction flow is increasing, you might need support. You've completed a capital raise and you've got investors that need information and they need it tomorrow, and you've got no support to do that. And also, if you've got a board in place and they've got a duty to have financial information so they can make decisions, and it's time consuming and they're not getting what they need. So they're just a few of the telltale signs and the triggers that might lead you to bring in some support.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that we've covered a fair bit of territory as we've charged through this morning. So thought we would just sort of wrap up, I guess, with kind of five focus areas, which, to be honest, you're already thinking about. If you're not, then you should be. If you are, then we wanted to reinforce it. But a first one, I think, for startups and for founders is to protect your equity. it can be very tempting to part ways with your equity when you're cash poor. It just feels like the thing that you should do. But we wanted to reinforce that actually there's a lot of avenues you should go after first that are non-dilutive. So, things like R&D rebates. Tim has worked with a lot of clients on accessing R&D rebates, which of course is completely non-dilutive. You can get R&D loans, so you can actually even borrow against future rebates if you can get your ducks in a row. Strategic partnerships, which is one that we and I personally have used a lot, where I need finance help. Sorry, I don't. I shouldn't need finance help. I need marketing help. I definitely need marketing help. And a friend of mine, is a marketeer. They need some finance support. So we'll do things like, look, we'll help each other out. I think those sorts of things are always kind of low-hanging fruit. Government grants, there's a lot out there. It does take time to pull through, and sometimes you're like, I don't have time for that stuff. There's also people that go out there and actually find those grants for you. And accelerator programs. We spoke to a lot of them earlier, but there's a lot of things you can go after before you start kind of offering up your equity. Protect it. You've worked hard. Don't give it away. Choosing the right systems. I think we've touched a lot on systems today, and we both think it's super important. There's the old adage that you should be selling, 80% of the time, founders and staff should be out there selling, and I agree with that. But just make sure that, I guess, in that 20%, you find some time to have a look at your overarching business model and your operating model. I think we've all worked for big companies where you come in and the infrastructure is like a spider web. Don't be that person. You'll hate yourself. If you can do everything with a lens of repeatability and systemisation, you'll thank yourself. And also, when it comes time to actually hire somebody, you're able to actually hand over a way of doing things, and not to weigh on this point for too long, but it doesn't mean creating, how-to documents. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Loom and other sort of screen recording products. You can literally go and do what you normally do, and it's a bit weird initially recording some of those things, but once you've saved up a bit of a bank of screen recordings of how you do these things, it's not taking you any extra time, and then you've got a bit of a set list to give to somebody if and when you're fortunate enough to hire some help. The next one is understanding your metrics, which again we've talked to. But if you're going to spend 80% of your time selling, make sure that you're selling at the right price. That's going to have enough profit to cover your overheads. Obviously, make sure that you're selling to the right customers, and make sure you've got the resources and the capacity to actually deliver on that stuff you're selling. That's one that Tim and I should probably take note of at the moment. Cash is king. It's an obvious one. And people always talk about it. I still think no one truly understands cash is king until you become a startup or a small business owner and you actually feel the proper pinch of that. Some people focus on sales, which everyone says is a vanity measure. Better yet, you can focus on profit, but everyone here would have heard of very profitable businesses that have actually gone out of business because they ran out of cash. So always be very, very conscious of your credit terms, be very conscious of your inventory turnover and your capital spend. It sneaks up on you. And finally, getting the right team, an obvious one to finish with, but I really, really do resonate with what was said at the start. Choose wisely. Time is precious. Recruiting is difficult. So make sure that you do your due process and get the right person in and fill for capability gaps first and foremost, but obviously then fit as well. You want to be working. If you're going to be spending a lot of time with somebody, make sure they're the right person. But we think they're five good things, I think, for everybody in the room today. I guess just to maybe just spend a bit of time standing back and having a think about.
Great, that's it. Thanks, everyone. If there's any questions, we're happy to take them.
How fantastic was that? So in terms of questions, just a reminder, because we're on the live stream, that if you've got a question, just make sure that you're talking into the microphone so that the people on the live stream can hear the question that you're asking. Who's first? Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Really informative chat. Have you got any typical small business startup metrics that you think is applicable for most types of business that's a place to start?
It's a tough question. It's a tough question, and the frustrating answer is it depends on the nature of the business. But I have a sneaking suspicion that you're an ESG services business, Ben. I think one that I think about a bit for services businesses ourselves, which is a tough one to measure because it does require a bit of admin and a bit of discipline, but is around actually your BD activity. I think, and there's different applications out there, but ways of actually trying to work out what is your volume of BD activity and how is that converting into business. I think I do think that there could be a relatively simple way of making that simpler in terms of it's not having to enter a timesheet. You might be stripping things out of, getting an app that can strip meetings out of your calendar and the rest of it, but just trying to have some idea of how much activity it takes for you to convert into work. I think it can really help you with resourcing and working out exactly, okay, when do I need to make sure that, how do I know when my BD efforts are sort of dropping off or need to ramp up? So that's something I think about. Yeah.
All right. Who's next? Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. That's very interesting. We all need to be ahead of our finance, and I like the dashboard view that you can see everything in one go. My question there is, obviously you guys have done a presentation today, and with a view of socializing and maybe getting more customers. How else are you getting customers? What's your strategy of actually getting more customers? And do you actually have agreements with the likes of Salesforce to, I guess, bring in more revenue for yourself? This is more a question on your business rather than the service directly.
Yeah, no, thanks for the question. And honestly, we're still working it out. I think there are lots of touch points that we've gone through today, and things like CRM implementation and other touch points. I think down the path, I would like to be able to kind of come up with kind of preferred partners and see if there is some way that we can get some revenue flow from those partners. But at the moment, honestly, we are quite bespoke. We are pretty much sort of word of mouth, meeting business owners that are dealing with a bunch of the problems that we've gone through, and working with them to solve those problems. But to your point, we're super conscious, and as came through in the presentation, of trying to work out what is our metric way of doing it. How do we systemize it in order to make sure that it is scalable? Because a fractional CFO, at the end of the day, it maxes out at 100. So we are trying to work out exactly how we can sort of, work on the business model to scale and also generate other revenue streams, such as, working with other partners in the ecosystem.
All right. I was wondering, what is the biggest problem you had to resolve? Just to find, you were like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this hasn't been touched.
Have you got one?
Do you mean in terms of a client issue?
Yeah.
Client issue?
Personal
client. Yeah. Well, I swear I got a call yesterday from a business that their accountant stopped talking to them. This seems to be the general flow of our clients, is that there's a problem. That's why they're looking for help, and they come to someone like us. They lost their accountant, their auditor was deregistered, and they need to get a set of financial reports audited by the 8th of December for their AGM. So that's like a pretty big issue, and that kind of goes to the controls piece. If you don't have good controls in place, then you lose your licence to operate. So that's a bit of a curveball that I'm looking at for the next month. If that answers your question?
Yeah, it does. It just speaks on the miscommunication, I guess, between the finance and the dreamers.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I've got another question here. On an average, for a small, you probably have some of the smaller operators you might engage with. Probably bigger ones, they already have their own systems. How long does it normally take you, just on average, maybe you have a range, to set up these systems and processes? And the other question is, how do you actually charge? Do you charge for an upfront and then based on revenue that the business is putting through your system?
Yeah, good question. We're fairly flexible with pricing, to be honest, as we have conversations with our clients or prospective clients. But typically, for a fractional CFO or fractional finance person, you're looking at a day rate. So what is my rate? How many days do you want? We can flex up and down as you need it. So if you're looking at your workflow over the course of a month, we can agree on those terms and then say, okay, well, these are our priorities and we'll address those, and we think we can do it in this number of days, and then next month it might be a bit different or it might be the same. That's typically how we approach that bit of work. Sometimes there is a retainer type mechanism as well that we can work with. In terms of there's no fees from systems or money flowing through systems. That's just us implementing them. Typically what you would get when you're onboarding a client, if you're taking over the financial control of that business, you would do a health check, and that might take a week to 2 weeks to then for us to get a lay of the land on going, okay, what are your process flows from deal generation through to your insights? What systems are you using? What's the low-hanging fruit that can provide you with efficiency savings in time and provide you with the insights you need to make decisions?
Awesome. We have one more.
Thanks, Tim. Really, really good. And for something that I know personally hurts my head a lot, thanks for simplifying finance, because it's a meaty topic that everyone needs to be across. Really quick one. You talked about that sort of middle gap of the pain point where you guys make sense to be engaged. But I was interested, is it ever too early for a founder to come and speak to you guys? Or when's a good point to start, what's the trigger point that usually a founder should think about you guys as a possible avenue to explore?
Of course, never too early. No, look, I've worked with businesses from pre-seed, all the way through to sort of Series B, ASX listed. It's just a different level of service along each of those points, I suppose, in terms of capital raising and business maturity cycle. We are always open just for a chat, and we don't charge for chats. So, it's just about we're genuinely interested in what businesses are doing and providing some support along the way. It could just be like you're thinking of an idea, how are you framing that up, sizing it up, how do I go to market, do you think? We might be able to provide some help with that.
Thank you.
I might just, very, very quickly add to that as well, to what Tim said, is I kind of feel, and whether it's 80% or whatever the right percentage is, I think if you feel yourself starting to spend more time on getting your numbers right and getting systems right and process right than actually growing your business, it's a dangerous position to be in, I think. And that's when you've got to get somebody in to help.
Thank you. Do we have more questions? Like one more?
Oh no, I was just like, if no more questions? All right, shall we wrap it up? Yeah. Woo! Round of applause for the two teams. Do we have another deck? Do we have a deck that's like coming next?
Just fuck up morning.
Just fuck up morning. Oh, I can F up like no one's business.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. All right, housekeeping stuff. So most important thing is if you're doing the awkward toilet dance, Scott is modelling for us. He's going to do some beautiful, look at those jazz hands. Where you can see Scott running, that is where the toilets are. They are up some stairs, so congratulations. Scott's getting his cardio in right now to find the toilets. That is where they're located. The food is not just for display purposes, so help yourselves at the back. It's from our lovely sponsors, Everest Engineering. If you are looking for a coffee, as we mentioned before, if you want to become a VC-funded startup, pop down to Joey Zaza's, who are in the foyer, tell them that you're there for morning startup, and your coffee will be on the lovely people from Purpose Ventures. We also know that being in a network environment can be a little bit stressful sometimes, particularly if you're tired and cranky like I am. So there's a little quiet area in the kitchen. So if you're like, ooh, too many humans, too much peopling, feel free to grab a seat and chill out before you head off. So what we're about to do, Nina's about to explain what's going to happen to this space.
Oh, we're going to clean it up. We're gonna start working really hard to clean everything up. Moving the chairs. So if you guys want to help, more than happy to help. I'll also make you eat food, and we're going to turn it into a normal space again. It's going to be great.
Kick out at 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah, we have to get out at 9 a.m. I know.
Cool. All done. Thanks very much, guys. Go forth, and we'll see you at some point in the future. If not, where's Tech Fest? 3 weeks. 3 weeks.